When in conversation with non-vegans, I have had the question asked many times, but we ate meat to evolve. We've always done it. As much as these people are certainly not incorrect, I don't think it's as simple to say just because we have always eaten meat that we should keep putting pigs in gas chambers for some bacon. I'm Giancarlo, and today we're going to take a look into how meat was a part of our evolution and whether it's justified to keep eating it or not. Let's get into it. Back in the early Stone Age times, the good old days, our species would have been cutting up their food with stones and cooking it on the fire, using animal skins to make clothes and shelters to protect them from the cold, and would have sharpened their sticks to use as hunting spears. Our primitive beings would have had a diet consisting predominantly of nuts, fruits, leaves, insects, and of course animal flesh whenever they were successful on their hunts. Of course, in some places of the world, crops would have been harder to grow and animals would have been harder to find, so there would have been a difference between the ratio of meat and plant-based foods depending on where you were living, foraging, and hunting. The sort of animals we would have been hunting would have been deer, wild horses, fish, and bigger animals like woolly mammoths and elephants. There is quite a cool article here actually that says from present day evidence, 97% of the Hadza tribe in Tanzania returned home with nothing when they were on their hunts. And among the San or Bushmen in the Kalahari, the figure was around 70%. So even in today's world, hunting is quite tough, and considering that we have better equipment now, we can start to see the challenges that our ancestors would have had. So why would we have eaten meat? Meat is calorie dense, has rich nutrients and essential amino acids. So it would have given us a sufficient amount of energy and recovery in order for us to keep striving and doing all of the necessary things to keep us alive. Now, I personally agree that meat had a key role to play in our evolution, but think that the mindset shouldn't be on what macronutrient enhanced our evolution the most, but more to a mindset of, all macronutrients had a key role in helping us evolve to the intelligent species we are now. Besides the fact that we are still killing the planet and each other, being consumed and manipulated through platforms of social media, technologies in many forms having a very negative impact on our well-being, and on top of all of this, butchering around 70 billion land animals and about 2.7 trillion sea mammals each year. I think our next steps in evolution are past eating meat. I think our next steps in evolution are far greater than diet alone. In order for us to even fathom the possibilities of how we can evolve as species, we must master taking care of the planet and each other first. So what does this have to do with living in our modern day society where we drive cars and wear clothes? And what does this have to do with veganism? Well, if we were only eating meat because cavemen did, then surely we would have to do all of the other things that they did, right? Because I can assume you don't sleep outside, eat insects, not conform to society, not use technology, and certainly don't speak in primitive languages. In some cases, rape and murder would have happened, and as we know, our ancestors would have had incestuous experiences as well. So if slaughtering the crazy amount of sentient beings that we're slaughtering today is justified because we've always done it, then surely all of the other factors should be justified as well. That being the rape, murder, and the incest. Why would we base our morality on our primitive ancestors when back in those times they did unethical things as well? So how much weight does this argument really have? For us to pick eating meat and not the other factors comes from more of a pleasurable need rather than primitive. Tradition and culture should never dictate morality. Slavery was culturally accepted. Women were deemed to be less equal to men and had no right to vote, even though women still encounter many forms of inequality and injustice today. The list goes on really. So just because we've done something for such a long time does not mean that action is morally justified. We could say, well, morality is subjective, Who are you to tell me what is right and what is wrong? We've just made it up. We could go down that road and start to peel back the materialistic world that we are living in, what we are, who we are, and how we've made morality a thing. But regardless of what you believe this whole experience to be, consciousness, let's say, that still doesn't absolve us of our responsibilities. We as a race move towards love, compassion, and happiness, and away from blood, death, and gore. We want to be coherent with the world and ourselves and not incoherent. So surely it makes sense then to extend the loving and compassionate beings we are to, all areas of our life, that being what we wear and what we eat. To finish off, yes, meat did have a role to play in our evolution, but so did everything else. I think the question should be, is it morally justified right now when we're not living in survival times? Alright guys, that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching my video, and if you've enjoyed it then please give it a thumbs up and a subscribe. You can also check out my Instagram page if you'd like. I'll put it in the description box below. Have a great day and I'll see you soon.